All right, this is one of them stories I'm not proud of, but it's the truth. I did turn down Neo in The Matrix.
And he's not just blowing smoke. That really happened. Welcome to the Review Desk. I'm Desmond Carrick, and today we'll look at Will Smith in The Matrix. Will Smith is what's known in the entertainment industry as a triple threat. He had success in music, in television with the massively popular Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, and in 1995, Bad Boys proved that he could bring it at the box office.
Bad boys, what you gotta do when they come for you.
This was also no fluke, as in 1996, he went on to star in Independence Day, which would become one of the biggest blockbusters of all time. With that film's whopping $817 million worldwide haul, Smith was riding high, and it gave him the luxury of being able to turn down roles. In fact, he initially turned down the role of Agent J in Men in Black, as he didn't want to do too many sci-fi films for fear of being typecast. It was around this time that he was approached by writer siblings, the Wachowskis. According to Smith, the duo pitched their idea for their upcoming project titled The Matrix in a most eccentric way.
So after we made Men in Black, the Wachowskis, they came in, they made a pitch for The Matrix. So dude, we're thinking like imagine you're in a fight and then you like jump. Imagine if you could stop jumping in the middle of the jump.
Say that again.
But then people could see around you 360 while you're jumping, while you're stop jumping, right? And then we're gonna invent these cameras, and then people can see the whole jump while you stop in the middle of the jump.
Smith indicated that the concept of the film didn't make sense to him. This was probably because the pitch focused more on the action aspects and he wasn't given any details about the plot. Most likely because the Wachowskis wanted to prevent too many details about the film getting out. And let's be honest, explaining a super detailed and thought-provoking film like The Matrix in a quick pitch isn't as easy as it sounds. Unless you're a screenwriter guy, that is.
It's gonna be called The Matrix.
The Matrix?
Yeah, the idea is that we're all living in a massive shared computer simulation called The Matrix.
Oh, kind of like the simulation that you and I live in, where everybody except Hollywood actors have the exact same face. What?
But from a business standpoint, Smith was also skeptical. The Wachowskis wanted to direct the film themselves, but they had only one other film under their belt as directors, 1996's Bound. While the movie unfortunately remains famous for the more titillating elements, it was praised by critics for its stylish direction and performances. Smith decided to pass on the project in favor of another film, Wild Wild West.
So I made Wild Wild West.
From a professional standpoint, this made sense. In contrast to The Matrix, Wild Wild West was helmed by Barry Sonnenfeld, who was not only a more experienced director, Smith had already worked with him in 1997 on Men in Black, so it seemed like a no-brainer. The Wachowskis still had Warner Brothers backing for their film, they just needed to find a new lead. Believe it or not, but Keanu Reeves was not the immediate next choice. Nicolas Cage was offered the role but turned it down due to family obligations. The studio was eyeing either Brad Pitt or Val Kilmer for the role, but they both declined. They then approached Leonardo DiCaprio, perhaps because of his surge in popularity after Titanic. He initially accepted the role, but ultimately it was exactly because of Titanic that DiCaprio would change his mind. Titanic was a special effects heavy film, and it was clear that The Matrix would be no different. DiCaprio didn't want to do another of that type of movie, so he ultimately walked away from the project. The search for a lead continued, and the script was eventually sent to Sandra Bullock, with the producers willing to rewrite the script for a female lead. She was also offered the role of Trinity. In a strange twist of fate, Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett Smith, had also auditioned for the role of Trinity. The Wachowskis themselves wanted to settle on Johnny Depp for the role, but the studio had another choice in mind: Keanu Reeves. Pretty much everyone thought Wild Wild West would be another slam dunk at the box office, while that little sci-fi movie from a bunch of unknowns probably wouldn't fare too well. But like Forrest Gump said,
my mom always said life was like a box of chocolates. You never know what you're gonna get.
Wild Wild West ended up being a commercial and critical failure. The Matrix, on the other hand, was a box office hit, with a global haul of $467 million, winning 4 Oscars including Best Sound, Film Editing, and Visual Effects, and influencing a whole new generation of filmmakers and fans of action and sci-fi. It spawned a multimedia franchise and will go on to become one of the most influential films in the history of cinema. If you're around in the late 90s, you remember that everyone and their moms was emulating bullet time. So Will Smith definitely missed out. The actor said he's not proud of his decision, but he also doesn't regret it. He goes on to explain that he doesn't think The Matrix would have been the same movie with him.
Keanu was perfect. Lawrence Fishburne was perfect. I probably would have messed The Matrix up. I would have ruined it. So I did y'all a favor.
Smith also admits that the Wachowskis are geniuses, although he didn't know it at the time. So, how much different would the film have been if Smith got on board? It's hard to say. The directors might have been tempted to tweak the script in order to lean into Smith's more comedic side, which would have significantly changed the tone of the film.
I would have been trying to do jokes and stuff like that. I think I would have messed it up.
Reeves' portrayal of Neo was perfect because it was understated, restrained, focused, and well balanced. That's not to say Smith couldn't pull that off. I mean, we've seen I Am Legend. But it's hard to say if he'd be able to stick to that. You see, Smith stated that at the time of The Matrix's pitch, he wasn't mature enough as an actor. If The Matrix was made a few years later, Smith might have been more confident to take on the role, as around the later 2000s we saw him broaden his horizon with more serious roles. So, what do you think? Would a Smith-led Matrix be better or worse? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe.